Welcome to Bitcoin Roadshow. Want to highlight DigiByte, the buying opportunity that it has. It's had for quite some time actually. If you look on a coin market cap, you'll see it's been sliding steadily since, well, like many other cryptos, it's been sliding since 2017. It's position 55 at the moment in the coin market cap, so it's still in the top 100 despite losing, it must be at least 40 times its value. Let me just check again. So, forgetting about the USD side, I don't really care about USD value. All I care about is Bitcoin value. So it looks like the highs it had was, I think it was something around 1800. Let me just see. Yes, it was. Yeah. It was, oh shit, 2213, 2213 Satoshis. That was its peak on June the 4th, 2017. So that was, 6 months before BTC had its pump. So let's see, at that stage it had actually fallen, and that was obviously not due to the falling USD price, because let's see, the USD price in around, let's say, December 2017, the USD price was 6 cents, right? And at its peak it was still 6 cents. So it effectively held its value quite steadily against okay, no, it didn't. Anyway, it went from its peak, it was set at 6 cents, and then at Bitcoin's peak, which is of course when all the other alts pumped, it went back up to 6 cents again. So one thing we know about crypto is that when you have experienced a peak once, you might not ever see it again if it's just a single one-off pump and dump coin. But anything with longevity that has reached previous peaks, if it reaches its previous peaks, it will most likely reach those again, especially if it's anything that's lasted longer than a year or two, right? So given that DigiByte is now at the level it was, I think it's like May or March. Let me just check. 2017. Yeah. Even then it started to go horrendously. Okay, so by April it was already going crazy, ballistic, of 2017 that is. Yeah. So it already fell by then. So to get to where it was back in 2017, we need to go back to early April, March, April, to get to where we're at now. So it could potentially fall, of course, everything can. But to go back to say 21 Satoshis from, okay, let's say as far back as records go, in 2014, it's when I think it launched. Yeah, LiteCoin was 2011, so yeah, DigiByte was 2014. So yeah, so this must go back to all. You know how sometimes coin market cap doesn't go all the way back to the start of when like for Bitcoin, for example, it doesn't go all the way back to the start. But it does go back to the start for DigiByte, I think. I'm pretty sure it was 2014 it was launched. February 2014, it has to be right. So that was 185 Satoshis. It sat at an average, let me just scan across here. Okay, so it had brief price spikes, 154 Satoshis, it had 67. So if you take these average peaks, even the lower ones, 118, even the lower peaks along that way before it got to the big spike in 2017, and it's even sat quite high. Let's say random times in 2017 it's gone down to 485. 2018 it sat around 500 a lot of the year, 400, boom, started to decline, 200, even most of the year. In 2019 it's at around 200. So if you look at its lifespan, it's sat above where it has now for most of its life. Even if you take way back in its early days, yeah, you could probably average it out to being. If you average it out, it's way above. It's way above what it is right now. If you took, let's say, from 2017 to 2014, its average price in Satoshis would be about what it is now. So you can get in at an average buy price of 2014 to late 2007 to mid 2017, which to me I think is a fantastic opportunity for something that's got longevity of 6 years. Is it? Yeah, 6 years. I'm on crap counting. So you know, it might be worth throwing a few bucks at DigiByte. I did say it a few months ago, and that was more based on, I think it was around 100. So if you'd listened to me back then, you would have lost money. But then again, that was only about 100 odd Satoshis. A lot of that value is because of the recent pumped up value of Bitcoin. So I suppose if you bought it in US dollars, if you had actually, because I've all through the bull market I've said don't switch your Bitcoin for anything, but buying in, so I'm just reading the prices here. Oh, sorry, you would have June, May, 1.6. Yeah, you would have lost a bit of money. Okay, fair enough. That's on me. But if you look at the average overall, the last 3 years, as long as you hold on, you're still going to make money. Now, as I say, it could slide further, like it can always slide further. I'm going to start, not with Bitcoin, but with fiat. I'm definitely going to start buying in some more DigiByte. I do have some DigiByte, but it's on that stupid exchange that went bust in the New Zealand, Cryptopia. What was it, 5 months I wrote to them, something like that, quite a while ago. And they just give reports. You're dealing with old financial world, you know, people like KPMG and that, they're not going to do anything fast, especially not for this community, which, you know, which is burying the old financial paradigm. So that's what I would say, is maybe start dollar cost averaging into DigiByte, and if it goes even halfway towards its previous 3-year peaks, you should make a tidy profit somewhere between, let's see realistically, you could make somewhere between, I reckon, quite easily in the next altcoin pump. You could make quite easily between 5 to 10x. And that's the thing, when you're at low points. Let's say you could probably hang on longer. We know that alts aren't going to pump for a while. You'll get little mini pumps here and there, false breakouts, but the reality is they won't really pump until Bitcoin is in a proper bull market, and that won't be happening until it exceeds 20k. You know, it could go close there, the bull market could be coming, everyone's like, oh, getting all excited and everything. If it doesn't go, if it just bounces off 19,900 and comes back down again, we're not really, in my opinion, not really in a bull market until it breaks through that resistance point. Because, you know, historically, about 7 times in the past, Bitcoin breaks through that previous point of resistance, and then you go into new highs, and that's when everyone gets excited. It's also when people start thinking, oh, I've missed out, what else can I go for? What's this Ripple thing? It's shit. No, I'm not listening to that. I'm going to buy it because it's cheaper. Yes, but there are billions and billions of that crappy coin, and it costs nothing to produce. And they will try to tell you that the fact that it costs nothing to produce is what makes it more efficient. No, it's what makes it worthless. It's what makes it digital fiat currency, because fiat currency doesn't cost anything to produce, and it gets all its value from the perception of it being worth something. Or tulip bulbs. So when people tell you about the tulip bulb scenario of the 1637 or something like that, the tulip bulb economy in Holland, what they're really doing is comparing proof of stake coins, not proof of work. So proof of stake is where you used alchemy to produce gold. I know it's not possible. Proof of stake is where you, let's say for example, the world was already made of gold. Everything was. You're chipping it off and saying, look, I've got some. It's everywhere. It didn't cost you anything to produce. You didn't have to mine it. It didn't take any energy. It's just common as air, you know. And actually, for those that are gold maximalists, I'm into gold, remember that all it takes is for us to leave Earth and to find a convenient asteroid that may have a lot of gold. Put it this way, every element is abundant in the universe somewhere. So in time, if you look at the long-term possibilities of mankind, nothing that's physical or a raw physical material has its certainty in retaining its value, because all it takes is having something that's easy to get. If you don't have to mine it, like gold has got its value because you have to mine it and it's quite expensive to mine it. Oil fluctuates its value because of the supply, and that supply fluctuates by the USA fiddling the market and bombing countries so they can't produce it, therefore keeping Saudi Arabia being one of the big suppliers instead of being a minor supplier. And also by the difficulty. So when you have to extract oil from, say, Scotland in the deep sea, or in the Gulf of Mexico, it's a lot more difficult than extracting it from Saudi Arabia, which is sitting in the sand. And let's say the tar sands of Canada, where you basically heat it up and put it through a lot of different extraction processes to get the oil out. Anyway, that's just getting into logical stuff. So what happens when everything becomes available? You get to the point where things that are unique in different ways will become valuable. So for example, art could still be seen as valuable, and Bitcoin, digital assets, and other unique, let's say everything from sculptures to digital property could become valuable. But in saying that, we are living in the age we're living in now. So I would definitely own gold, silver, especially silver, and Bitcoin. And then other things like DigiByte, just start to averaging. To me, if you bought in at 77, which is at right now, 78, it's gone up a little bit, right? If you bought in at 78 Satoshis, and it goes down to 48, that's you half the money. So if you've got $100 to spend on DigiByte, put in 10. If it goes down a bit, then put in more. If it starts to go up a bit, and it looks like the market's recovering after Bitcoin gets to 20k, maybe you might want to go in heavier to realize those profits. Nothing's a certain game. We're not the ones rigging the market. We just got to follow the information from those that are. No one's talking about DigiByte at the moment, really. It's really quiet. That's the thing. That's what should get you interested. When no one's talking about something, that's the time to be interested in it. When everyone starts talking about Bitcoin like it's near 20k, what happened? They'll get burned. Because they only got excited because it went up to 20k. And you saw their eyes glinting and all that sort of stuff. It's too late. Anyway, that's about it, really. Let me just say a few more things. So DigiByte is one of those things where it's a bit of a strange one, because you've got that, it's a mineable currency, which means it has value. It's a platform, so it's like a kind of platform like Ethereum or BitShares. BitShares, though, is not mineable. That's the guy who did, what's his name again? Dan Larimer. I get some of these projects mixed up sometimes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his one, the guy from EOS. So, besides being a network, that means you can run stuff on that network. So, and in the case of DigiByte, you've got the DigiID, so you've got security stuff on there as well. So, if you look at an exchange, it's kind of like what Shapeshift and everything used to be, or still are, but you used to have to sign into Shapeshift and for Changelly. I don't know if you're still doing Changelly, but I know you're doing Shapeshift now. So you could go there before and just put money towards something, and then it would be spat out, which used to make me nervous. Like, what if my money doesn't arrive? What if my conversion from Bitcoin into Monero doesn't actually arrive in my wallet? Who do I complain to? So I was a little bit freaked out when I first saw Shapeshift years ago. And there was a bit of horrendous fees as well, really, compared to other trading platforms. But ChangeAngel uses their DigiID, so you put the digital ID on your wallet, the wallet on your mobile, and then you use that to log in. You can use login, you can use other methods as well. Pryvate are also going to put that on, Pryvate. So it's in there, but it's on the roadmap to be installed. So, and that's another exchange that's going to be listing DigiByte as well. So, you know, I think it's just one of those things where they haven't put the money in. Actually, if there's anyone from DigiByte watching this, you guys are going to spend some money on marketing. I know that, you know, you shouldn't have to. Bitcoin doesn't really spend money on marketing. A lot of projects out there that are the best projects don't spend money on marketing. Not to say that you should blow all your wad on marketing, but sometimes take the Donald Trump campaign for presidency, right? Take Hillary Clinton spending about over $1 billion on a failed campaign because, you know, it doesn't, in this day and age, if you're selling shit, it's not like the 80s. You can't just say, look at these Tupperware containers and everyone's buying your Tupperware. You know what I mean? You've got to be selling something that's decent. So, you know, Hillary wasn't decent. Well, Trump wasn't really selling himself. He was just using the alternative media and, you know, strategies, game theory. So perhaps you guys need to think a little bit of game theory and a tiny bit of money to push that game theory forward, and it will allow DigiByte to be where I believe it actually should be in the coin market cap, which is actually in the top 10 somewhere. I'd like to see it have adoption to prove its scalability a bit more. And that's the thing, a lot of these projects like Neo and stuff like that, the things I don't like about things like Neo and EOS is the unminable aspect of it. The fact that you can, fair enough, you've created a token, it's effectively a security in that respect. And if it's as long as it's linked into being a utility for the network, then I can understand its value, right? Even being produced for nothing if it's non-mineable. If something's a currency, not like a security, not like a, hey, you're basically getting shares in the company. If something's like a currency, there's something to be said for something that's mineable. If something's a utility on a network only, so it's not to be used off that network, then understandable, it's fine. And that's why I don't mind the fact that, EOS is unmined. Although it would still be better if you think about these platforms being used to pay for video games and all sorts of stuff that is on-chain and off-chain and cross-chain, then, you know, it would be much better to have something that has intrinsic value as well as extrinsic value, which you get from effectively having to spend time, effort, money, energy into producing. And that's what LiteCoin, VertCoin, DigiByte, all these other Monero, Dash, what they all have in common, which gives them value. Besides points of difference like privacy and things like that some of them have, like Monero and Zcoin and stuff. Anyway, I might leave it at that. Yeah, it'd be really good to see some guerrilla marketing, might be the term, rather than spending money hand over fist. It shouldn't be required, but just getting the community to rally in a more intelligent way to, well, let's say a more efficient way, a more effective way to get the word out there. So when the next bull market comes, people learn about it as a, shh, you know, don't shout about it, but you know, this is the tits. Invest in it now, and before you know it, you get a, you rally the existing community together with the new adopters, not in the way that the XRP army do it, which is just spending money that they've rinsed from previous, you know, previous pumps, the previous victims in the previous pumps, and then spending that money on another marketing campaign to bring in a whole new fresh batch of noobs to pay for your next marketing campaign, which will in turn rinse the next one. That's the cyclic rinsing of noobs that is our projects like BitConnect and XRP. Anyway, that's about it. I know that I always get dislikes if I talk negatively about XRP. I don't give a shit. Fuck off. It's shit. It will always be shit. Ripple might be used places. Who knows yet? The coin has nothing to do with it. If Ripple doesn't get used places, I'd be surprised, because you've made so much money and taken so much time since, was it 2012 or 13? Oh, shit, was it again? I can't remember when Ripple first came around. so much time spent to go nowhere and do nothing, and nothing that is. I mean, you should be changing the world. You could build a new Earth. I said that the other day. They could have built a new planet for the amount of money they took in. It's insane that they haven't done more, and they keep on relying on this regurgitation of the same old bullshit. You know, show me something. Stop talking stories about what it's going to do and what it will do, and how the missing blocks and the, you know, are not an issue. It's I don't know. It's an eye opener, that one. Anyway, I could be wrong. It could slide down to 20 satoshis, but I think overall it's a fairly safe bet. It's as safe as any in the altcoin market.